because this isn't the first one.
Okay, so just what? Welcome back to the Hot Dog and Bun Show.
Yeah, I'm Steven, this is Liz, and we've got with us today.
All right, ready? All right, welcome back to the Hot Dog and Bun Show. I'm Steven, this is Liz. We're here with Nick today. Nick is going to tell us a little bit about himself and his story and his transition from female to male. So Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, where you were born, that kind of things.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah,
thanks for the opportunity. I'm Nik Travis. I almost said 23. I'm 32, so backwards, a little dyslexic apparently today too.
That's all right.
From Fort Wayne, been here my whole life basically. I love Pokemon, big Pokemon fan. I've got 10 Pokemon tattoos.
Nice.
And yeah,
You play the game?
I do.
Yeah.
Play the game.
Do you do the Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
I know that was like a
Talking
big
about.
thing a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, Pokemon Go, and then I got Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch. That's
Oh.
pretty popular too.
Oh, what's
is
that
that still
like?
a game? Like the Pokemon Go? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I mean people still do it, but not everybody. Like it's not as
It's
popular.
not as, it's not trending.
No, it's not trendy. No.
Do you collect the cards and everything too?
Yeah, I've got a big collection at home.
Yeah.
Not just cards, like everything, like from the original 1998.
Oh man.
Wow.
Time frame,
I
yeah.
would love to see that.
Yeah,
I
I've
would
got
love
like
to
the
see that.
toys, clothing, like all the stuff.
That's probably considered retro now because it's been long enough.
Yeah.
Vintage.
Yeah,
That's
They're
what happens
vintage,
when you
yeah.
get old.
vintage. I know, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you're
true.
not 23 or 32.
No, I'm 32. Yeah, so I am old now. Yeah, unfortunately.
Selling dreams.
Yeah.
Selling dreams.
All right, so what else can you tell us about yourself?
I'm going to get married here soon,
Oh, congratulations.
October 10th.
Awesome.
Yep, I've been with Kaylee for 3 years. Next month on the 9th. So,
Aw, cut
That's
celebrating the anniversary, dude. Gnarly.
yep,
Awesome.
yep. So
That's amazing.
Pretty exciting.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. You ready
Um,
for it?
Yeah, I'm ready. Got 3 cats.
I love
They're a
cats.
handful.
Yeah, what kind of cats are they?
Just I don't know, just normal.
Normal.
Two
feral cats.
2 of them are
You can't pet
from
them
the
and they will
shelter.
bite you.
Yeah, right. No, they're pretty good cats. Yeah, they're really they all have anxiety, which is great. They're supposed to be emotional support animals, but they have anxiety. Tell me how that works out.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
forcing
Give
you to
take.
support
Give
them.
take.
Yeah, I guess. But I love them. They're great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have dogs. My one dog, she's an ESA too.
Okay.
She's actually really good at it.
Which one?
Oh yeah,
Xena.
my cat's
The
stuck in
big
their
furry
jaw.
one.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my favorite.
Nope.
I like the other one, Piper.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's nice.
Yeah, she's psycho. You like.
Shut up. Shut up.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. So what do you do for work? I mean, I tell people where you work. Obviously, you don't want anybody stalking
No
you,
stalking.
fans,
No
crazy
stalkers,
people
right,
like
yeah.
that. So, but what do you do for work? What do you? Because I know you're going to school.
Yeah, full
Right.
time. Yeah.
For what?
Business management.
Nice.
I'm a senior. I've got 2 more semesters left. Pretty pumped to have that
Congratulations
bachelor's.
again.
Yes. Yeah.
Big things,
Big
man.
things,
Yeah.
all happening in the same time frame. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
That's
okay.
great.
It's good.
Yeah, it's not overwhelming sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean, life in general is overwhelming.
Yes.
But yeah, all that added together does get kind of stressful. But I'm pretty good at managing stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to school for business management. What
Yeah.
do you do now?
So I've been working for almost 3 years with the same company now, doing like vending stuff at like bigger retail stores.
Oh, okay.
So I go in there. My company pays me to do stuff there, like set shelves and
Reset like
Yeah.
displays and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, for sure. And I love that.
worked at
so.
Lowe's a long time ago, so I'm aware of all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's really flexible with my work or with my school schedule, so that works out great for me.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
yeah, for sure. So.
Awesome. So are you planning on moving up in that company, or so it's like once you get your degree, are you gonna find something else that's probably more up your alley, or?
Yeah, so I looked into like progressing with the company I'm with. Unfortunately, the pay's not where I want it to be,
Yeah.
so I'll be leaving them sadly. But it's been fun, so yeah.
Unfortunately, now like salary is a big driving factor for everything.
It is, yeah,
Everything.
it is.
Mhm.
So
Everybody wants to have an amazing life, you know what I mean? And when somebody's like, "Hey, we want you to have a associate's or a bachelor's degree that's going to cost you $15,000 to $30,000, but we're only going to pay you $12 an hour once you get it." You know,
Yeah.
right,
Nobody
Yeah.
really wants to do that.
yeah,
So.
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
So how long ago did you decide? Well, let's start at the very beginning. When did you know?
Yeah, so I was like probably in third, fourth grade. I don't know like how old that makes you, but pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I my best friend at the time, I told her I wanted to try and stand and pee like my brother, who's 13 months younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Why would you want to do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just seems like something I should be doing." But I didn't really click. Nothing really clicked back then. I grew up really Catholic. We were very conservative in our beliefs, and so I wasn't allowed to like free think and just be myself for a long time. But that was like my earliest memory where I'm like, something is, she's saying that's weird, but to me that seemed normal.
Seems normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then kind of like going from that point on, I started like emotionally having feelings for women, like around 6th grade then. And I was not understanding like why I wasn't allowed to be attracted to women. Because, and like I said, looking back now, I understand, I've always seen myself as a guy. So, typically guys date girls. So that made sense to me. But back then, since I was a female, females don't date females.
Yeah.
So
And
it was a
being,
little
like
weird.
You said, in Catholic
Yeah.
community, that's definitely not something that's.
Yeah. So that's kind of the earliest kind of memories I have where I'm like, it wasn't adding up then, but now that I know what was going on back then, it makes sense now. So for sure.
So what was like some of the hardest things other than, dating, girls or whatever at the time? What else was a struggle at that time? That's a pretty young age.
It is, yeah. Basically submerging my real self. Because I wasn't allowed to be my authentic self at that age, so that was the roughest part. I actually didn't start transitioning until I was 21, so
So a big chunk of your life you kind of had to keep that. Man, that's got to be tough.
Yeah. My daughter was about 19, 20-ish when she started taking the hormone replacements and things like that. So.
It was pretty rough. I like to tell people basically half of my life was, unfortunately,
Imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I was kind of living my own personal hell in a sense, and there's not really much I could do about it, so, yeah.
I think a lot of like just everyday normal people struggle with imposter syndrome as far as like who they really believe they are, because we all have things that are inside us that we don't tell people about, our thoughts, things that maybe we've done that only a select handful of people know about, and we don't want anybody knowing. And I can't imagine what it's like to those are just characteristic traits, let alone something that you feel like deep inside that, hey, this is really who I am. And because, especially probably at the time, it wasn't socially acceptable. So now you're forced to try to live the life that you are supposed to live, according to your surroundings and circumstances, and you can't. Man, that's gotta. What's that like?
Other than your friend too, when did you finally have somebody safe you could talk to about it?
So when I was 21, I was dating somebody who identified as transgender, female to male. And that was my first awareness that was even a thing, that you don't have to be the gender you were born with. And it was like an epiphany moment. And it kind of all just clicked together. So I did come out to my family. That was pretty rough, as you can imagine, being Catholic. But they did come around probably about a year after, so like age 22. But I didn't have a lot. I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about it that I felt safe and comfortable with. So it was pretty rough for a while. It's just a lone man battle,
Yeah.
So
Man, I mean it's gotta embody some strength. You know what I mean? To carry that kind of weight. It's admirable. All the way.
Now,
So you said
your true self.
Right.
Look at me breaking stuff. Okay, so you said you started transitioning when you were 21. 21. And what was that like obviously, what did you know to start with first?
Yeah, so I did a lot of research. since I knew that transgender was even a word. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that at 21 I didn't know that was even a word in the dictionary or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I started looking at, like, YouTube was big back then when I was 21, and there was people that were, I guess you could call them like transgender celebrities at the time, whatever you want to call it. That people who were just starting to transition would watch their YouTube videos and kind of like get the
Right.
feel for how you start to transition.
Oh, that's nice.
And so that was very helpful. Aiden
Where's he-
Dowling is one of those people.
Okay.
So, and he has a big follower fan base on all his social media, but he's been transitioning, I think, for like over 20 years now. But
That's a process.
it
I
is.
mean, and it doesn't always take that long, right?
No.
It's each individual person's own journey, however you want to do it.
Right, exactly.
Now, is that stuff hard to get done? Is it based off of, like, you know, does insurance cover it, or is it make it harder because, oh, this surgery costs this much money and nothing's covered, so I've got to come up with the money out of pocket, or, you know, with the hormones and things?
Yeah, so basically for me, and I'm sure things have obviously changed because it's been a while since I was 21, but it required a year of therapy.
That's not true. You're only 23.
Right, yeah, exactly.
2 years? Come on.
Exactly. I was in therapy for a whole year. So back then, the state kind of made you go to a therapist and basically prove, if you want to put it in that kind of sense, that you are transgender.
And not classified as a mental
Right,
disorder.
it's, yeah.
Is whatever.
Yeah. So, you know, I did the therapy for a year, and, you know, nothing, you know, they made sure that, yep, this is him.
Yeah.
And so then once I had completed all that, then I took that letter and I found a hormone doctor down in Indy. At the time was the only one.
Yeah. I'm all over online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went down to Indy, and that's where I was issued my testosterone. Was with that doctor for about 6 months, and then she retired. She was pretty old when I went to her to begin with, so I knew she was going to retire eventually. Luckily, there was a practice up here that was just starting, like, transgender care, which was great. And so I switched to her, and I've been with her ever since.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so insurance is tricky. With the hormones, back then it wasn't so tricky. I think now with the political stuff, it's definitely getting super crazy for people to get their hormones. But back then it was a little easier as long as you, like I said, had that therapy and they had proof and stuff like that. But surgeries, that's a whole nother story. Those are really hard to get covered back then and now. It's seen as kind of cosmetic.
Yeah, anything cosmetic insurance does not want to cover.
Not medically necessary, but who is to determine what is medically necessary, you know?
Absolutely.
So, but, you know, it's, what's crazy about, like, if we just take into consideration, like, the hormones and the surgeries, that is a very small chunk of being transgender.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I mean,
that's
it's
more
crazy.
just physical.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you said, like it's, you know, unfortunately in the insurance world, it's cosmetic, but in real life, it's an outward appearance, not really who you are.
Yeah.
So, but, you know.
It does help with your confidence.
It does, yeah.
And now
Right.
is the testosterone is the only thing you have to take? Because I know transgender women, there's a couple different things. But
Yeah, so we only have to do testosterone.
Okay.
There's different things. So I have always done the shots. But you can also do gel, or there are patches that you can do for testosterone. The testosterone patches and the gel is super slow, though, like the process of developing, like, the attributes.
Yeah.
Whereas the shots is definitely a much quicker process. I would say I didn't physically notice any kind of differences for about a year and a half, which was really, really sad, but also, you know, it's a long process, and it really depends on genetics. So you know, some people
have a higher level of testosterone in their body.
For sure.
Normally, so.
But definitely after that year and a half mark, I could start seeing a lot of different facial changes. The structuring of my jaw changed. I got an Adam's apple, which was great. That does not always happen.
Now, what about, does that make you lose your hair?
So, because male pattern baldness runs on my dad's side, unfortunately, I'm right down that alley. But like I said, genetics.
You're not alone.
Yeah, genetics.
We have we have t-shirts, support groups, all that stuff.
Yeah. So, and you know, with testosterone or even estrogen, there's always risks. I mean, it's not
Right.
easy putting the hormone that you weren't born with into your body.
And
I
she
mean,
has to keep track of her blood pressure and stuff like that. That's one of the
Right.
things.
Side effects, and it's probably a lifelong thing.
it is. Yeah, I will have to be on it the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
So
otherwise your body will just readjust to
Yeah.
that lower level.
Man, so that's, I mean, that in itself, like, how often do you have to take it?
so I get shots weekly.
And you have to go there every week?
Well,
or-
yes.
You do- Oh, okay.
I don't do it myself. Most guys do them themselves. I have a
Right.
very bad needle phobia,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would pass out if I even
Yeah.
tried to inject myself. So
Oh my
unfortunately,
You may
Yeah.
try to do it,
No.
pass out. Get up, try to do
My
it,
daughter's
pass
the same way.
out.
She used to run, like hide under chairs
Mhm.
and just like run from you, just terrified of needles.
yeah,
But now what's a tattoo?
yeah. I
I
mean,
guess
well,
it's different, right?
it is different.
It's different
It
type
is
of
different.
needle.
I have tattoos. I can personally tell you it's much different.
Well,
So-
I mean, I could see it, you know what I mean? Because, like, I've been in the hospital so many times over the years, you know, with the medical shit that, like, needles don't really bother me, you know? I'm more like, okay, there's the pinch, we're in, cool.
Yeah.
But, like, in the beginning, when you watch something foreign go into your body,
Yeah.
and then, like, they hook up IVs and
Mhm.
shit, like, so I
Yeah.
get it. Like,
Yeah.
it's some people, I watched plenty of people pass out just from, you know, I remember one time my sister probably killed me if she heard this, so hopefully she doesn't watch this.
Wow.
But I remember when she had to get shots, you know how they do it for school or whatever, and she was in the doctor's office screaming, running around like a little cave girl, hiding behind shit, like
Cave
would
girl.
not come out.
So I think something people don't understand about transgender people in general, that we're not doing this for fun or as a phase or as a trend.
Mhm.
You know, besides, you know, like we talked about hormones, they come with other factors that are like I have to worry about like blood clots now and strokes,
Right, 'cause it
things I didn't have to
thickens
worry
your blood,
about.
Yeah.
So like without even taking the medical stuff into consideration, the being able to mentally and emotionally like transition is also super hard. You always are looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't look how I want to look, or I don't feel like me. And so I want people to see us and be like, you know what? We just need to see them how they want to be seen.
Yeah.
Because it is so hard. I mean, even today, you know, I've had surgeries. You know, I've been on hormones 10 years now. I still look in the mirror and I'm like, I still not man enough for my. You know, I still don't. I don't feel still man enough.
Right. Which is then why you're trying to work out. And
Yeah, I'm trying to build more. Yeah.
Yeah, build more. Which makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely hard. And isolation is real. Suicide rates are real.
Yes.
You know, I actually am thinking about my dream. I want to make it a thing. I don't know if it'll happen, but Indiana is a very red state, as we know. And with homeless shelters, they can actually turn you away if you identify as transgender because they don't know where to place you because they have male and female
Yeah.
sleeping areas. And so if you are transgender, they want to put you with the sex you were born at birth.
Right.
And that can be pretty triggering for the individual, not to mention, you know, other abuses can come from that.
Yeah.
And so my idea is to build a LGBTQ with a focus on transgender youth homeless shelter in Indiana, where there's going to be rooms assigned by how you identify and like individual showering, so it doesn't matter what gender you are, you have your own shower with doors and locks and just accommodate everybody's needs because I feel like Indiana really needs that.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere, but especially red states.
Right. And would it be like kind of like a non-for-profit? Because I know a lot of homeless youth, which homeless youth right now is just their percentage is unreal.
It is.
It really is.
So how much of like, so I know like locally, the homeless shelters are faith-based organizations. And so I wondered how that translates into what you're speaking about, because with it being faith-based, a lot of times, you know, they have a hard line with
Yes,
that.
they do.
Is that what causes, you think, a lot of like the inability to like, I mean, it seems so sad that it would be 30 degrees outside and you can't get warm and find a place to sleep just because.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the problem with nonprofits sometimes is they are a lot of faith based, and I don't think faith has to be involved.
It
Right.
doesn't.
You don't have to have faith to be a humanitarian.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and so and a lot of transgender people and people in the LGBT community are constantly being thrown out for who they are, and so that's why the rates are really high.
Yeah, because I imagine what that does to a person.
Yeah,
You know, I'm being discarded because of who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said,
Not for
isolation.
anything that I've done wrong.
right.
And as far as like support groups, is there a lot of that around, even in Fort Wayne?
Yeah, there is. So the Pride Center downtown has. They have their own section there, but there's also a group that meets. I think every second, maybe Tuesday or Thursday every month, for transgender individuals. I can get you that information if you. I don't have it off the top of my head.
No, that's perfectly fine.
But yeah, where you can come together and meet other trans people and share your experiences and your stories.
Yeah.
Are you pretty active in that group?
I have not physically been to it. I keep wanting to go, and then I have school or something comes up and I haven't been able to. I know.
Yeah, but we can get that. We can add it to the bottom of the video and make sure we put it in with the podcast, so that's available, so somebody else can have that resource.
Maybe put a. Since he spoke about, suicide risk and things like that, something for suicide prevention if you're struggling with.
Is it all the same, like the hotline? That
they actually have a transgender hotline now.
Oh, okay.
For suicide,
okay. We'll put that on there too.
Let me. Oh, my phone keeps timing out here, and I gotta keep re-put it in. Back to the. I don't know if you want me to touch on number 10 again, but there was something else I didn't.
Want to talk about.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this is your time. We got time, so speak on it. It's your voice. Something they can't take
always
away
say
from you.
everybody has a story, and we want to help people.
Yeah, well, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, because there's, like you said, like you want to go back to the topic that is probably the most prevalent out of all of them. Everything else is just your own personal experience.
Right.
This is more something that probably affects the community as a whole.
People.
Yeah.
So, if you get a chance to, that's what it's
whatever
about.
else- yeah,
what I
whatever
mean? It's
else
not
you wanna-
about
Right.
censoring people.
Right.
So.
Nope.
So yeah, the other thing, I want people to know about transgender people, besides, like I said, the other stuff, is it's super expensive. I mean, and the risks and not being able to be yourself and sorry. I was going there and then I lost my train of thought.
Squirrel.
I know. Literally. Oh my gosh. Oh, where was I going with this?
That almost ended up bad on camera. I had this turned around upside down.
Oh my gosh, that would be bad.
Oh man.
Not everybody wants to transition, and there are their personal reasons. I knew this transgender guy from Michigan that physically could not because his physical health and the hormones would have killed him.
Yeah.
So then you have people like that maybe can't because they can't access the hormones or health conditions that won't allow them to be on, and they have to just naturally be their authentic self without all the surgeries and the hormones, and that's even harder.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah, because there's nothing you can do to truly be who you want to be inwardly and outwardly.
Right.
Like
It's crazy.
Right. That's rough.
Yeah. So, and there are people, that also don't want, like, for instance, I opted for top surgery. Some trans guys are like, that's too expensive, or it's just not something I want to do. But we still want to be seen as guys, even with or without certain parts, So that's also important for people to know.
Yeah.
So what do you think the best approach as far as getting that message out, that it's like, hey, we just want to be seen as who we want to be seen as? How do you get that out more? What do you think, I guess, is the next course of action that you think is maybe the missing link on how we get
Other people too.
right
Yeah.
to come around, if you will? Like, come on, come around and come and see type stuff,
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with me is just ask. Ask them, what are your preferred pronouns? What would you like to be called? And being respectful of their answers. Because I feel like that's the biggest thing, like especially in job sites or school and even your family. ask them who they identify as and respect their choices and who they are. You know what I mean? And their who they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that would be an arrow to follow.
Yeah.
So just try to be like, I feel like the flip side to that coin, right, is that maybe a lot of people are afraid, like we talked about, to ask questions because they either don't want to be construed as somebody who's asking questions rudely that maybe you shouldn't
Or
ask
they
because
care
they don't
and they
know.
don't want to offend anybody.
That
Right.
makes sense, yeah.
So I just, do you think that, so I've never been to like a Pride festival or anything like that.
Yeah.
So when they do those types of things, what's that like? Like, is that stuff involved? Do you guys talk about those things, or is it more just like a celebrating, like, hey, this is who we are, this is our one time where we come together and kind of do this, because it doesn't seem like it's one of those things where people should be that afraid of it, because it's not being dumped down anybody's throat or forced on them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about, why can't you just ask somebody?
Yeah.
So I had this friend, and when she was in high school, she was what we believed was straight, right? And she had boyfriends. I think I made out with her once. But we stayed really good friends, and she came out of the closet years later. And I remember asking her one time, like, because I could always talk to her about anything. She knew I was just curious. And I said, so what made you go from penis to vagina? Like, I don't understand that, because I could never go from vagina to penis. It's just not who I am. And she was like, do you like Brussels sprouts? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, well, I don't. And I was like, I get it. I get it.
Got it.
Perfect. Thank you for, that for dummies for me. You know what I mean? Got it.
And I've been to Pride even before my daughter came out as transgender. I always went. Like, I've always been that person, supporter and everything. And it was 2 years ago. She finally asked me to do her makeup and stuff like that for the they walk around.
Yeah, the Pride Parade. Yeah,
the Pride Parade, and it was great. It was very, not really bonding, because we've always been super close, but it was nice. It was good.
Yeah, I would say Pride is a good step for people that aren't sure how to be more open. It's a very open community. Anyone's welcome to come. Race, gender, sexual preference, religion. We accept everybody in, and you just are who you are there.
That's where I wear my free mom hugs.
Yes, people
I got
love
several
those.
hugs.
Because people do.
Like we talked about before, not everybody's parents is accepting. And some of their parents are just like, disown you.
Yep.
So they didn't have that mom or that dad that's there anymore that will support them. So of course I'm like, I have free mom hugs for you all day.
I'll tell you, the parents that are out there that do support us, we appreciate you guys like so much. So much. I don't think there's even like enough words to express how much you guys loving us for who we are and accepting us for who we are, how much that means to us and how much that does for us. There's just not enough words to put out there to tell you, but yeah.
So what would you say to somebody who is in the position that you were in originally, that maybe lives, because I'm sure that there's small communities, small towns and things like that where, you literally do feel so alone. Like, what would
fear for your safety?
Right.
I mean, depending on where you're at.
What would you say to somebody in that position to kind of, I guess not motivate them, but inspire them and let them know, like, hey, it's okay. You're not alone. Together we rise. What would you say to, if you could talk to somebody in that position?
Yeah.
Talk to the old you.
Talk to the old me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't give up hope. Definitely, that would be the biggest thing. Even if you don't have a supportive family or you feel like you can't reach out to your friends, you keep in there. There's all kinds of support groups nowadays. There was not that much back then, but there's so many things for transgender people. Even if you're in a small town, there's the internet, for crying out loud. That's the biggest way to reach out to people.
Yeah.
All kinds of Facebook groups, Instagram stuff. I'm even in a Snapchat group for trans guys. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff nowadays. So yeah, that'd be number one. Number two, don't stop trying to be yourself. because everyone else doesn't want you to be that.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, just you gotta hang in there. I know that's hard to say because I've been in that situation, and when it looks hopeless, you're like, damn, why am I even here? But it's so important to try and find something positive in your day every day to keep you moving forward until you get where you need to be.
And that's so hard to do. I mean, anyways.
Well,
anyways, yeah.
I think the outcome of who you've become is amazing in itself, considering all the external and internal boundaries and hills that you've had to climb over and trenches you've had to crawl through just to get to where you're at.
Yeah.
So, you know, that in itself should inspire somebody that is wanting it but has no idea how to go about it.
Yeah.
Right. And also with that being said, so I owned a Pride business actually in Fort Wayne for 5 years. And so everybody kind of knew me in the community as the guy who ran Pride supplies.
What supplies are those?
Right. And people would often be like, is that like sex related? I'm like, no, it's not sex related. I did like, you know,
Cut
like,
out perv.
no, yeah. It was very much like the different flags for like, you know, there's bisexual flags, all that stuff. And I had like gender affirming buttons. So like that say like your pronouns that you prefer. So that's helpful. People would buy those and wear those at work. So people, if they didn't know how you wanted to be addressed, there's your freaking button right there.
Yeah.
It says he, him. So those are my pronouns.
Yeah.
So I've seen, because I've seen you posts. Well, do you want to tell people what your Instagram is in case anybody wants to reach out to you, maybe ask you some questions, or I mean, if you're not comfortable with that, you don't have to.
No, you absolutely don't have to.
No, I'm good with that. It was Pride Supplies, but since I stopped the business, it's called Trans Designs now with 2 Z's. So. I'll give you the stuff you can post, but
we'll add that to it. So.
I'm on a mission. I've got a U.S. map, and I have these stickers that I've designed to kind of help everybody feel like there's still hope in the world. Because I think a lot of transgender people are like, man, this is soul-sucking. I mean, I definitely feel it.
And you designed it, you said?
Yeah.
And you sell it to your business?
I don't sell them. I give them out for free. I actually have been mailing these all over the U.S. to all kinds of transgender people.
Yeah. Well, we're actually building a merchandise store, so I would love to be able to disperse those with some of, like, if somebody buys a t-shirt, we send it with it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That would be great.
I've got almost all the states. Send a letter. I'm like, got 8 states left.
Ooh. Wow, you're getting close. Yeah.
I know, and it's
how long did it take?
Literally, the quickest thing. I mean, I made the sticker design, and then I, like, posted it on my social media, and within, like, a month, I've sent out over 200, 300 letters.
That's great.
I admire you for not charging, but imagine if you did.
Yeah.
Pull that money back into something, but no, that's great.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a vision.
You want to be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, I mean, because I know, you know, finances are tough for people, and I'm in a position where I'm able to give them, I can, you know, a stamp is nothing, to make these stickers is nothing.
Yeah.
Something that gives them hope that keep hanging on. And the feedback I've gotten from people who have, like, gotten the stickers in the mail, they're like, man, this is so great. I'm so glad you're doing this for the trans community. It really makes me feel like there's hope somewhere. Yeah. Like, we're all connected, even though we're miles apart. And that's my mission. And
it's
so
a
that's been great.
symbolism.
It is. And people are sending me pictures of where they're putting their stickers at, and my whole social media.
Amazing.
I love it. I love it.
Did you do like a whole hashtag? Like they have to put that on their Instagram?
I did not. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
but
you still can.
I know, that's true. That's true. But yeah, it's cool to see all the people that I've
See, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's great.
Yeah. A little entrepreneur for his own nonprofit.
Yeah.
So, last question. If you had a pet squirrel, what would you name it?
Cheeky.
Cheeky.
Or, if I really wanted to be, like, super crazy, there's Pokemon. There's 2 squirrel Pokemon.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And okay. I either one of those I might name it. So, there is a normal type squirrel Pokemon, and then there's an electric squirrel Pokemon.
I might know the
like
name.
A robot?
No, like, that's their power. They're electric.
Damn, I thought we had
So,
I can relate, buddy.
So the electric...
I feel like I know the name.
Do you know?
I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
I think so.
The electric one has like a blue tail, and he's mainly white.
Squirtle?
No, that's...
What is that one?
Okay, well...
You were so close.
Shut up.
Squirtle, okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll give you that. He kind of is considered a squirrel.
And a turtle.
And a turtle. So I'll give you that. But these are like Pokemon from later evolutions that actually resemble physical squirrels more than Squirtle. Like they literally look like a squirrel, but
not
different
hybrid.
colors. Yeah, not a hybrid.
Now I'm gonna have to get into Pokemon to see about it because somebody turned me on to Harry Potter, and I went down a rabbit. We watch it like I gotta find out what this is all about, and I ended up watching like 6 movies in 4 days or something.
Yeah.
3 days. That's actually a pretty good show. Never thought I'd be into it, but
Harry Potter, really? You didn't think you'd be in that?
no. Well, just because I tried to watch the first movie a couple times, and I tell you the truth, couldn't stand the way his aunt and uncle treated him so much it made me not want to watch the movie.
Yeah, that's a struggle.
Yeah.
All throughout, though.
I just was thinking the whole time, like, you guys are pieces of shit.
I'm gonna go find you.
Yes.
I'm gonna rescue
Send you
him
hate
from
mail.
under the stairs, and then I'm going to Hogwarts.
Right.
Hey, you know, speaking of Harry Potter, that's actually a pretty good symbolism of like transgender people. Like, not super good, but close. Like, he's a wizard. He can't help that. That's just who he is. That's how he was born that way.
He's not allowed to do magic in public.
And his freaking aunt and uncle hate him because he's a wizard.
Right.
It's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, you're
Absolutely.
trans? I'm going to hate you because you're trans. I don't like that.
You think they would stop being like that to him after the first or second movie when their son got a tail and
Yeah,
no, he's
Or
looking for punishment.
inflated and floated away.
Yeah, that's it. No, never.
Man,
Okay,
all right.
because I mean, the whole squirrel question, that's kind of one of our phrases is
Okay.
don't beat the squirrels. Because I'm ADHD, and I don't think he's diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm ADHD
I'm
real
pretty
bad.
sure. But yeah, it just kind of came about, don't beat the squirrels.
Yeah. Yeah, if I wasn't going to do a Pokemon name, Cheeky.
Cheeky.
Okay, why?
Because, you know, they put all the nuts in there.
Right.
Nuts
So,
on your cheeks.
so
Got
I
it.
thought, yeah, that'd be a cute name for a squirrel.
Yeah,
So
I like it.
Yeah.
we're gonna tell you about this. It hasn't came about yet. And we'll probably edit it out of this video, but just because we don't want. Well, awareness will be awesome at some point, but until we get it locked down, we would love to have you come, and especially some of the rest of our guests. We're doing a hot dog and bun lunch party.
But it's a fundraiser also.
Oh, cool.
And it's with, have you heard of FW22?
Yes.
The not-for-profit?
Yes.
Yeah, Jared, he's going to be on our podcast too, but we're
Cool.
kind of working with him also. So yeah, that might be a good,
Awesome.
Hopefully, J Tubbs will come and do some
yeah.
music
We'll talk
stuff.
to him about that tomorrow. Have you heard of him too?
He's actually going to be the DJ at my wedding.
That's fantastic!
So-
I love that.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy.
He's awesome.
I've
Yeah,
known him for
I'm
a
excited.
long time I've known him, but yeah. He's always doing great things for the community too, so I really hope you get to work towards everything you want to do. And,
Awesome.
I mean, you seem driven,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm sure you'll accomplish everything you want to.
Yeah, I would love to bring some stickers if any
Absolutely.
transgender people show up and would like one. Yeah.
So-
if you've been on this podcast and, you know, I mean, I'm sure we'll do it anyway, because you guys are friends, but,
I don't
yeah.
care what people
Any-
freaking say. You can do what you want, man.
you just made my squirrel right on.
But man,
ADHD in real
Come
life.
back. I haven't named my squirrel yet.
Oh.
Oh, gosh. Okay,
Boy.
anyway, that's for another conversation.
you got a squirrel named Weasel.
But yeah, no, you're part of the hot dog and bun family, and once we get some shirts made, you'll get one. So
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know? So we're hoping that a lot of that stuff will be covered by the sponsors and things like that.
yeah,
And but we haven't figured out the venue. But I'm thinking
You
it
can
might
vote,
be
yeah.
MVP or Pedal City
or both.
or
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
or
I've not
what's
been in
the
either of
other
those.
one? River City.
Yeah, fair play. Volleyball, they do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
play that league.
Okay.
That's how I know Mike, but he's got outdoor sand courts.
Oh,
The
cool.
one I don't know if you heard of seen where it's at. It looks like an old abandoned warehouse, and like
Really?
between two buildings is like these fantastic outdoor volleyball courts.
Wow.
They play at during the summer, so
That's fun.
hopefully because he does a lot of fundraiser stuff there.
Cool.
For other
Yeah,
people
that's
to
cool.
rent it out. So
Yeah, for
we've
sure.
got some things in the works.
Yeah.
So we'd love for you to.
Should be a good
Be a
time.
part of it.
Obviously, you know I lost the first
Oh,
challenge.
did you see that?
No. Did you guys post it?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you make
we
him do?
posted it. No, we haven't posted that part.
That one. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we got to order the costume.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I had to. What's your idea? ideas for the sign.
No, hell no.
Yes, I told him what you should.
A friend of mine from the movie was something about Mary. It was like, ask me about my wiener.
Yep, accepted. The movie accepted.
Is it accepted?
Yep.
To college.
It's college. Yeah.
He told me about it.
I did.
This is fucked up.
I
see this going so bad.
Ask me about my
Or
wiener.
the dude in the costume is doing this thing? Okay.
He has to because he wants to be a part of the fraternity, and so they
you
tell
know
him.
what I'm thinking of.
Oh, what do you think?
It's something about. Is it something about Mary?
Have you seen my baseball?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that's what one of my
Yes.
friends from Tennessee. She even posted that too. The same
Oh,
thing.
you got a
Yeah.
whole squad of people that are coming. I saw the one guy that commented on it, and I can't remember what he said, but make him stand. He said something about make me stand somewhere or something. And I'm like, get off the comments.
Easter. He's talking about like the Easter Bunny or something.
Yeah,
like that.
stand next to Easter
He
Bunny.
needs to stand at the college campus
Oh.
because it would go with the movie too.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
saying.
And then we don't have to worry about minors. Like,
Yeah, you
seeing
want
the
it.
sign
You
about
want it.
Seeing.
And people who have seen that movie will be like, "Oh my gosh, this is from the movie Accepted." Bing,
If
bing.
you get me arrested, okay?
Well, we'll start a GoFundMe right now for Bill Money.
For Bill Money, there you go.
That's what
There
I
you go.
want.
There you go.
That's what I want. I don't care about the money. I care about my reputation,
I think it'll
okay?
be fine.
Which is already tarnished, but we're working on it.
You'll be all right. They'll like it.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
That'll be fun. We're gonna do more like that. I think this summer. So I know we're just waiting on the captain to get back with us,
Mm-hmm.
but we're doing a fishing expedition with Nisha.
Chartered
Um,
stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, because she's real big into outdoorsy stuff. She's a friend of ours, so
Mhm.
and I like to fish too.
Where are you
She
guys
does.
fishing at?
Michigan
Oh, that's a good place. They
Yeah.
got
She's
some-
got a
got some good fish.
place
All
she
kinds of fish.
normally goes to, and yeah, it'll be
Captain
great.
Captain
So-
Rick.
Because we're trying to do more than just podcasts. Like
Mhm.
we want to do like the challenges and stuff,
Mhm.
and like
Skydiving. We're going
yeah, skydiving.
Mhm.
And for her, like fishing and outdoor stuff, like she does hunting and things
Cool,
like that
yeah.
too. So, and it's just celebrating people and their
Right.
story. Like I was saying, like
Yeah.
we don't want to just focus on one thing, like paranormal or
Right,
haunted stuff.
right.
Like my friend that we already interviewed, it was a lot of that.
Mhm.
But that's just stuff that he's into.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we just want to keep it like
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to talk to, man, because he was on, like, he watched and witnessed, like, possessions and exorcisms and took
Ooh.
part in them. And
yeah.
so right up the horse.
Yeah.
He's
alley,
former
you know.
military and
Okay, wow.
works for the
Yeah.
government now and has his own like media company and stuff.
Cool.
It was so much
And
fun
another-
monkey branch into UFOs and stuff. You know me, dude.
I know you go
yeah.
off on that tangent
So, yeah.
stuff.
That was pretty cool. I'm
Cool.
excited for some of the other people. Really the one that I'm really looking forward to is Jared, just because it's like I can relate to that depression
Mhm.
and that, like, you know, stuff, like, even though I'm not a veteran, probably some of the things that they go through, the
Yeah.
stuff I can relate to. So
And now he's branched not just from veterans, but even active duty suicide
Okay.
awareness,
Yeah.
which is
Wow.
yeah.
So there's gonna be some really cool people, man. Some of them will probably have to be done like we've been doing Zoom, just
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
these people live in Florida.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
You know.
sense.
And tomorrow we have Angie, which is one of my best friends that owns the Bell.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We'll have her on because I've been around here since day one of it becoming the Bell Mansion.
Awesome.
She owns was that
So.
Barrel?
The Barrel House. It's doing a
Barrel
grand
House.
opening. It used to be 312.
Oh
Then
yeah,
they-
312. Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
it as 312. Okay, I didn't know
but
they changed.
grand opening is next month.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
the owners passed away, but
Oh,
she
well, that's
purchased
sad,
it.
but-
Yeah, but that place is amazing. It's beautiful.
It was. Yeah, I've been in when it was 321. Now I've been
Yeah.
in there. It was
Is it?
nice.
What did I say? 312.
Or-
Is that?
Is it 312 or 321? I don't
have
know.
no idea.
It's one of the
You know
other.
what? It's not that anymore. It's the Barrel House.
That's true. We don't have to worry about what the number was because now it's changed.
Yeah.
So
So we
that's
have
fine.
her tomorrow, and then we have J-Dub directly after that tomorrow too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
We're-
do need to put him on campus though.
That's
I like it. It's decided.
Yeah. Ask
Gavel.
me about my wiener.
Gavel is thrown.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that for
He
you.
hates me.
You-
I know,
Hates me.
yeah.
He
One
hates me
stroke,
so
dude.
much.
Missed it by one stroke, just
Yep.
a fluke.
One.
I
That's
was
all
in
it
the lead
takes.
too for a while.
I was in the lead first. Then he pulled ahead
We
by
were
two,
tied for a
and
while.
then
Yeah.
but I still won.
Wait till we
All that
go real
matters.
golfing. I've been
Oh, yeah,
pretending
the
to suck
winner.
at golf for
Yeah.
years. Wait till we go real golf.
What was the next one? So we're gonna do bowling.
Either bowling or the driving range on
Ah,
Fairfield.
either way.
Maybe bowling you might have. I don't know. Are you a good bowler?
I am.
Ooh.
I've heard that before.
Not for me.
How are you guys deciding the challenges? Is someone picking them for you?
No, but that's something I thought about. But
Because my thing is,
like do a poll.
yeah, because otherwise you're gonna be like, for instance, you're better at bowling, but he's not. So, oh well, you're automatically gonna win now.
I'm good at everything.
You know what we should do?
It's just gonna lose all the time.
Okay.
We should
That's unfortunate for
pick
him.
a few challenges, right?
Uh-huh.
And then put them on there and have people
Yeah, I think a poll would be cool.
poll and donate. Like whoever donates the most, that's the challenge that we'll do.
No, we don't need donations.
Shit.
Not now.
I'm not trying to pay $400 to go skydiving. You crazy?
Well, I mean, if you want to jump out of a plane, though.
What if I die? I just paid $400 to die.
Well, that was your choice. You did that yourself.
So you want somebody else to pay for it?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please sponsor this so I can jump out of a plane.
You don't
and
kill
die.
yourself with your own money.
Oh my
No.
gosh. Anyway, we're gonna cut that part
Oh,
out.
jeez. Okay.
No, that should be fun. I definitely think the fishing trip thing will be fun, but you know, like eventually we'll do something like road trip wise. That's fun, but that's if I can stand being around you long enough to spend days at a time.
Man, a road trip, that's cool. Like just driving through cities and states.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
No,
cool.
yeah.
I've always wanted to either backpack America or road trip America. That'd be fun.
I think we're gonna do it.
My bank account says nah.
Well, yeah, the
You're
bank
staying-
account
you're
says
staying right
no,
where you are.
but the fun says yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have you say, "Don't feed the squirrels,"
Okay,
and then we'll take a picture.
sure.
Okay.
I can do that.
But I appreciate you being here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
Thanks
been
a lot,
great to
Woody.
get to know you.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. It's
Yeah.
been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys are being super open-minded and just, like I said, bringing on all kinds of people of all different things. I love
Yeah.
that. That's great.
Yeah.
It's great exposure.
It's the people that matter, man. You know, it don't matter if you're the mayor of Fort Wayne, a business owner, or just a normal person going through the walks of life and has a story to tell. Everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
we're gonna get it.
Yes.
We're gonna get the story.
Yes, you guys are.
Reach out and grab it.
All right, Nick. So say our favorite phrase,
Don't feed those squirrels.
especially his squirrel named Cheeky.
Yeah, especially that one. He's gonna stuff it all in.
All right.
Cool.
I'll just
So
stop it.
can you set a timer? And then I think we should